Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the News Desk. My name is Jeff Payne from Coveris, and I'm going to be the host for this episode. I'm joined today by a special guest. Sriram Rajagopalan is from Inflectra, and he's here today to talk to us about project management. Welcome to the News Desk, Sriram.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Great to have you here. So let's jump right into it. I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on out there in the project management space. So how do you see project management evolving, emerging in Agile and outside of Agile? What's your perspective on that?
That's a very good question to start off, Jeff. So several years back, we used to have internal team leads like system analyst or QA tester, and they get eventually promoted as project managers. I call them accidental project managers because they are having project management in their title, but they don't necessarily know all aspects of project management. As a result, projects failed. The industry has taken a note of these trends. So we now need project managers that are strategic thinkers, seeing the big picture. The same applies to an agile environment. Product owner still needs to understand the big picture. So it's not a bunch of iterations that make up whatever story we want to say. It's the ultimate story that gets delivered in multiple releases or iterations. Agile coaches or project managers must therefore see the team members where they can be rather than where they are. Everyone in the middle management has an important role being a servant leader in delivering through people as a result. A few years back, I published a scholar practitioner article on how waterfall never existed in theory, but only in people's mind. Progressive elaboration has been present from the day project management was ever put in practice, whether it is medium projects or mega projects. So if we don't understand these principles and jump right into Agile, we will make Agile fragile. Right? So Agile or traditional, I see all these approaches as a vehicle for delivering outcomes. If you look at Agile, we are seeing how to integrate work from multiple teams like Scrum of Scrum, Scrum at Scale, SAFe, and you name it, several other frameworks. In the traditional space, we see the same thing too. So operations and benefits are taking the main front here in terms of programs and portfolios. To do all these things, we need to take an important thing that's called risk. That will take the center stage. This means project delivery champions, whether you call them project managers, program managers, product owner, project manager, scrum master, agile coach, whatever you call them, they need to become the change agents, understanding different types of risks, consider quality by design, and engage multiple stakeholders for the change that they have to champion. So risk will become more central, and all these project management approaches, whether agile or not agile, will become more centered around risk management.
That's interesting. So you mentioned risk. Obviously, Agile is an iterative, lightweight approach to software development and delivery. What role do you think risk can play? It can be perceived as a very heavyweight process to do risk analysis. What's your view of risk in an Agile world, a DevOps world?
Great question, Jeff, again. So let's take a look at Agile as well as DevOps. The goal here is to add value. And I differentiate 4 important types of values, which is going to be customer value, business value, technical value, and process value. The theme around all the 4 of them is primarily around good practices. Note, I said here good practices and not best practices, because if you say it's best practice, then there is no more room for continuous improvement, right? So these practices are focused on many things like delivery predictability, operational efficiency, effective management of risk through the security practices, sustainable maintainability. I'm just coming up with a few things over here. All these things are some of those good practices that we want to incorporate in Agile delivery as well as in the DevOps lifecycle, right? Can any one person know the answer to all these areas? No would be a very good answer here, because thinking that one person can think through all potential angles means accidents are waiting to happen. And that's risk. That's uncertainty and that's risk. So no one is immune from risk. And actually good backlogs are actually called risk adjusted product backlog. And sometimes we try to think way too much into risk in terms of why should we do this analysis, the identification, the analysis, and all those things. In fact, it makes it easier on the risk, on the agile approaches, because you are already thinking in terms of a smaller life cycle, like 2 weeks to 3 weeks time frame, and you have limited scope. So in that particular scope, you can start looking at what risk will play in terms of my ability to deliver successful iteration or successful release. From that aspect, if you take the minimalist approach, the lean says, remove everything so that you have only the minimum thing left over. Risk impacts the scope. Risk impacts the schedule. Risk impacts the people's ability to deliver and the quality, and the list goes on. So let's not get too ahead in terms of the paralysis of analysis in terms of too much detailed analysis, but do minimalist risk approaches to be able to deliver what the business wants, ultimately the outcomes.
That's great stuff, Sriram. I appreciate that. And I know Inflectra has been working on capabilities to support Agile project management and project management in general. How do you see the Inflectra products and capabilities matching up with where you're seeing project management head? What can we expect, and what will we see in terms of strategic capability, risk capability, and things like that in the Inflectra solution?
Fantastic. In the Inflectra solution, the one thing that is core to Inflectra solution is the customer. When we look at the customer, in terms of the project delivery, it's not just the project manager, it's not just the developer, it's just not the tester, it's not the service desk person at the end. All of them are part of the project delivery, right? So our solution is actually an application lifecycle management system entirely covering the products from the inception to the closure. As a result, we have the different test suites, the Spira test, the Spira team, and the SpiraPlan. And particularly in the SpiraPlan, we have introduced the risk module. Right? We are having the risk analysis as part of the testing space, as well as the delivery capability space, as well as the entire program delivery capability space. And now, if you take a look at that the risk module itself, we are not limiting to the project, but as projects become part of programs, and programs become part of portfolios, and portfolios and programs become part of the enterprise, there is a single view from all the way to the CEO to the senior vice president. They can drill down and go into the programs, and the program managers and portfolios can go down to their levels, and the products, and the products can actually go into their own details in terms of development risk or security risk and all those things. So we have one single dashboard that covers the entire space of the risk spectrum, along with the program management and portfolio management included. And so we are able to roll the source of truth in terms of where it goes up and where it goes down, so that appropriate decision making and policy making can be done with the information that's already put in day in and day out by different people that are working through the projects. We are also extending additional support for Kanban, because Kanban is another agile lean approach where we can focus on the work in progress limits. And we are introducing that to be able to support those specific teams that support Kanban rather than Scrum at its core, or other agile approaches at its core. So we are introducing a lot of different things to different types of people, whether they are developers, whether they are testers, or project managers, or product managers, or maybe the the stakeholders that are making a higher decision making elements. So we are supporting all these things as part of our SpiraPlan, and then we are dividing them into different smaller elements in terms of Spira team and Spira test.
That's great stuff. Sounds like you all are very busy. What's the best way for those that are interested to reach Inflectra? If they want to get a demo or get a version of the software, how do they best contact Inflectra?
Definitely, we are available first of all in the booths, definitely, and in addition, we are in all social media spaces like LinkedIn, Twitter, and all those places. Please visit our website. You can contact some of the quick evaluation download if you want to experiment. And if you need to further reach out, please use the contact us in our website to reach us through sales, and we will be able to help you and support you.
Awesome. That's www.inflectra.com. Thank you, Sriram, for being a guest here on the news desk. And thanks to everybody for listening. And until next time, have a good day.
Thank you very much.